These are the tools required to tear down the HFT. You're going to need a 9/16 open wrench. I use an impact with a 9/16 socket, or you can use a ratchet with a socket, doesn't matter. You can use a crescent wrench. Also a 4.5-inch Allen wrench and a 5.5-inch Allen wrench. As a tip to you guys, I like to use this wrap quite a bit. They sell it at U-Haul. It's a green wrap, and I use it for the weights, and I use it for the cables, and anything that's small, I use it to attach to the frame so that there's no loose parts and nothing gets lost. We're going to proceed to remove the weight stack. 2 Allen set screws that are 4.5 millimeter and 2 Allen bolts at the top, 5 millimeter. The set screws, you're just going to back them up slightly. That just keeps the guide rod in place from banging up and down. And then the top ones are where it actually holds the plate at the top on. We've already removed the back ones there. Now, before you do that, you're going to lift this up a little bit just to create a little bit of slack. Okay? And this is going to go forward. Same time, bring this up a little bit. Like there. Boom. And I'll hold this. You got that one. Boom. And all right, and then another quick tip on the weights, on transporting the weights is I like to stack them like this, crisscross, and then wrap them 5 and 5 with the green shrink wrap. What I'll do is I'll just kind of go around once and twice to kind of hold them in place. And then I'll lift up, bring them over to the edge and kind of, and I'll do come around the other way, leave it intact. And here we are done wrapping them all up. All right, I also like to remove this shroud just because it can be transported with the side that we're going to take off, but you have a higher chance of damaging it, scratching it, or even bending it. So I always suggest that you take it off. You have 2 bolts on the side here. It's very easy to use an 11 millimeter socket and open wrench. So it only takes a few seconds. I'm showing you this because if you do take that extra step, it's going to make a world of difference. In the sense that you won't damage it, have an angry customer, have to go back out, spend more money. And then in the front, here you use the 5 millimeter Allen wrench. And remove this side as well. A little uncomfortable, but again, if you take the extra step. All right, so I like to put all the hardware back in place, and that way you have a lot lesser chance of anything getting lost. So all hardware back in the same spot that you took it out, every single bracket. I go ahead and, like I said, even the Allen set screws here, I'll go ahead and screw them back in, because any vibration in the transportation will vibrate these out, and when you get there you lose them and you have to come back out. So again, just put your hardware back where you get it out of.
All right, what we like to do is we like to make sure everything's protected, so we wrap it with a thin piece of foam. Across here, and hit it across here. If you're sweet at packaging things, yours might look better than this, but this gets the job done.
Go ahead and remove this one side, and with the 9/16 socket and open wrench, you're going to remove these 2 here, these 2 at the bottom, and the 2 up here. Now we already loosened them up, so all we have to do is, Jared can take those top ones off, remove them, and then leave that bottom one. Just leave the bolts in there. You can leave the bolts in here. All you're doing is remove that, because you're going to put the nuts right back in once you remove this side. Here, you go ahead and hold on to it. I'm going to remove the bottom one here.
Told everybody to go home because it's so crappy and everything.
Push it out. I'll hold this one.
Yeah, you were great.
And so you put your nuts back on this corner here so that this rail doesn't come off. Or the top pulley come out.
Do you have a time available?
All right, so before we remove the side, you can see how that shrink wrap came in handy. Everything is wrapped on these two guide rod poles, all the small stuff, the bars, any of the stack spacers, any of the donuts on there. Everything's wrapped on here, booklet. So nothing is loose, so when you remove it and transport it, nothing's dangling, nothing gets loose, nothing gets scratched. So removing this side here, you got two bolts at the top, which we already have removed. You have two here, two at the bottom. Remove them. This just comes, I'm going to take this last one out here that we keep it holding in place so it doesn't fall over. Have somebody holding that part. There we go. And then always remember to just go ahead and put the hardware back in place so that nothing gets lost. And you have all your hardware when you get back. Now we're removing the last three pieces here. So I've loosened all these bolts out and have somebody also hold that back end. And there you go. And then I'll take these also and again wrap them up to the sides.